Have you ever wanted to be a cool guy in a video game? Then play Ghostrunner. So many games try to do this, but fail to actually immerse you in the world, ending up repetitive and boring despite interesting concepts. Ghostrunner, on the other hand, delivers on every aspect of this feeling. You are a ninja who has to climb a big tower to kill Doc Ock. This concept is fine, but like I said, that doesn't really affect whether the game is good or not. The real magic of Ghostrunner lies in the flow of its gameplay and the satisfying use of the one-hit kill. Every single enemy, except for the bosses, dies in one hit, and so do you. As a result, you're going to be seeing this screen a lot. Like a lot.
Go wide. Go wide. Go wide. Go wide.
From the beginning, the game forces you to move, as even starter enemies do not miss. It starts off simple, with the enemies mostly standing still and shooting slowly, with your abilities limited to your sword and basic movement. Then you get the dash, which slows down time. Then they throw in the machine gun guy and the grappling hook, add in the shield guy, gotta get behind him to kill him. Then they bring in the ninja guy, gotta wait for him to lunge at you and then counterattack. Then they change up the whole game with the blue things that you have to destroy before you can kill nearby enemies. Then you got the giant robot that shoots a laser that fills the entire room. Then they bring in the sniper guy who just kills you if you're visible at all. And the game keeps taking these concepts and building with them, creating these beautiful complex rooms. Rooms are more like puzzles that you have to figure out through trial and error instead of a massive health bars. When you die, you stay in the same room, and the game encourages you to try again through a lack of death cutscenes and the ongoing soundtrack. Not all of these rooms are combat-based, however. The other half of the gameplay in Ghostrunner is parkour sections, where you fly down zip lines and sprint from platform to platform. But these sections don't feel disconnected, because they still use the same mechanics from the combat. Sometimes there will be puzzles worked into the parkour, like one where you use shurikens to turn off electrified platforms as you slide towards them. Oh yeah, there's shurikens as well, so sometimes you get a cyberspace uplink. And what cyberspace is when you go into the computer and the tutorial guide teaches you how to do something. But these uplinks, they're like power-ups, and you get the shurikens, and you got the one where you jump really high, and you got the one that slows down time. And these are all on a timer. And then sometimes you can hack things like stasis from Breath of the Wild. And then there's the abilities that you actually get in cyberspace, like the one where you mind control an enemy to shoot the other enemies. Then there's the upgrade system, where you have to play Tetris to be able to do things like deflect bullets. Oh, and then there's the little robots that you jump on and drive with your sword. And they keep throwing new shit at you while still encouraging mastery of all of these different features. And all this stuff becomes more complex as it mixes with all of the other elements. Even with this much stuff going on, the attention to detail is amazing. The game takes place in a dystopian cyberpunk city, with a dictator and a failed rebellion. As a result, walls and other surfaces are covered in propaganda and graffiti. The dark buildings are lit up by ads and colorful lighting. Despite all this, Ghostrunner shines best in the moments leading up to a kill. You'll be jumping from wall to wall, bullets whizzing past you, gaining speed as you get closer and closer to an enemy until you're right in front of them and you swing your sword. But you're still not safe. You don't have time to think about what just happened. You have to keep moving and use that momentum to get to the next guy and the next one after that. When you chop a guy in half, blood splatters onto your screen and sprays everywhere. And when you kill the last guy in a room, it goes slow-mo for a second, signaling a brief moment of peace. The sound design is excellent, and enemies choreograph their movements clearly and effectively. Take a look at this ninja guy. He walks towards you slowly until he's in range. Then his eyes flash red and he slices at you. The only way to kill this guy is by parrying his attack just after the red flash, and then doing one of your own. The soundtrack is incredible, and the way it is used in-game is masterful. The heavy beats and cyberpunk feel push you forward, giving you a purpose and acting like a metronome for the fast-paced gameplay. When you die, the music never stops, encouraging you to get back in there and do it all again. The boss fights felt a little out of place at times, as there's basically only two and you're stripped of most of your abilities. Epic Games says this game has great boss battles and diverse characters. I don't know where the fuck they got that from, but whatever. You can't even click on these. These aren't even links, they're just words that might be true. Anyway, even though the bosses were infrequent and didn't exactly match the flow of the game, I still enjoyed them, especially the last one. There's an extremely obvious, clear from the start twist ending. I don't know if that's a bad thing though, because the game doesn't lean on or overuse the story at all. Also, you know all the dumb bullshit that like every video game has now for some reason? Well, not in Ghostrunner. Dialogue is infrequent, and while it's happening, you keep playing the game, and there are no cutscenes ever. All you have to do is keep going, no interruptions. No side quest filler horse shit, none of that. The collectibles don't really change anything, although I did get this cool rainbow sword that I used for like half the game. Ghostrunner starts with 1 set difficulty, and if you beat it and choose to go back on hardcore mode, everything still takes 1 hit, but there are tougher enemies early on in more locations. Just like for reference, I played the first level on hardcore and I died as many times as I did on the final level originally. This game is difficult, but not unfair. In a particularly hard room, you'll eventually memorize where every single enemy is and how they will act, and you'll develop a method of attacking to account for those details. There's just this great flow pushing you forward at all times, whether it's through the music or the combat, and you never tire of it. Easily one of the best games I've played in a long time.